Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So within today's video, we are going to be talking about the match between Barcelona and Celta Vigo. Barcelona is going to be hosting Celta, and what we are going to be focusing within today's video, we are going to be talking about when certain players are going to be returning back into the squad. We're also going to be talking about how Xavi thinks Barcelona should be approaching their opponents moving forward, and then lastly, we are going to be talking about the lineup and what we could see, because yes, we do have certain players that did enter this squad that now makes Barcelona much more dynamic, and we could see a very different starting 11 tomorrow night. So there's so much that we have to discuss. It's a very exciting time to be a Barcelona fan. So many games, so many things are happening. If you guys are new here, welcome to this channel. I hope you guys do enjoy this video, and so let's get to it, right? But first, I do want to speak about our sponsor for today, and that is the OneFootball app. If you want to find out how I do build these videos and where I do get my information from when it comes to like football news or team news about like Barcelona or maybe Real Madrid or maybe Atletico Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, you can find that within the OneFootball app. They have great information, great articles that you guys could read. Again, they have team stats, player stats. All of that is compact, and it notifies you immediately and live on your phone for free when something new does happen in the world of football. It's a very reliable app. I hope you guys do enjoy it. If you do want to download the OneFootball app, you can so by clicking on the link down below on the pinned comment, and there's also going to be a link on the description box down below. It'll take you straight to the app store. You download the OneFootball app, set exactly who and what you do want to follow, and then you'll be set and done from there. I hope you guys again do enjoy it. But now let's go back into this video and let's talk about the squad list, because this is going to be the biggest piece of news that we are going to be discussing for today. We look at Frenkie. You can see that Frenkie is finally on the squad list. He has finally returned, and again, it allows Barcelona to be much more dynamic moving forward. Barcelona will find so many ways to put out a great lineup. Now we are going to be discussing further on Frenkie later down this video. Everything again is going to be organized in the timeline down below, but moving forward from there, now knowing that Frenkie is 100%, let's focus on Memphis, Kessie, and also Kounde. When it comes to Memphis, it does say here, according to Javi Miguel, that Memphis still needs at least 2 weeks to receive the medical green light. So most likely he is going to be returning for the match against Athletic Club. It's not the biggest loss in my opinion when it comes to like Memphis not being in the squad, but he still needs to be here. Like for example, if Ferran Torres is not going to be like 100%, and we're not going to be seeing the prime Ferran Torres, the only player I could think of when it comes to replacing Ansu, if he ever wants to like come out early, it would be Memphis Depay. No other player. I don't think that Rafinha plays better than Memphis on the left wing, and as of now, Memphis has been in better form compared to Ferran Torres on the left wing. So in a way, we could say that he is a necessity for this current Barcelona squad. We move on towards Kessie and Kounde. It does say here, according to Javi Miguel, that Kessie and Kounde will get the green light before the match against Real Madrid. Now, this is a necessity, especially for this clash. To hear that Kounde and Kessie are going to be there in time for the Clásico, that is again great news. I have been assessing Real Madrid for the past like 2 or 3 weeks. One of the biggest ways they do like to attack it is on the left wing, like always, right? That is because Vinicius does play on that side, and he really does boss the left flank. Like everything does flow through him through this season, especially. And I think that this is screaming for Barcelona to aim for a back three with Kounde being that right center back in order for him to basically cover Vinicius, because it's not going to be easy. I can't think of any other right center back or any right back that could face Vinicius besides Ronald Araujo. Kounde would be that perfect replacement, and to follow how Ronald Araujo has been facing Vinicius in the past year. Now, I know that there has been many reports about Kounde maybe coming back for the match against Inter Milan, which will be happening on Wednesday. That is a big maybe. We do not know, right? I think that by Monday of next week, we will have a better understanding on when we could expect for Kounde to come back. But as of now, when it comes to Kounde against Inter, it is a big maybe. As for Kounde against Real Madrid, it is definitely going to be a green light. So now going back to Frenkie de Jong, because I do want to add more emphasis on this player, because yes, Xavi Hernandez during the pre-match press conference was talking about Frenkie de Jong and what we could expect from him tomorrow night. The interviewer asked him, will Frenkie de Jong participate tomorrow? This is what Xavi said. Yes, he is 100% ready. We will see tomorrow. He contributes a lot. Physically, he gives us a lot, and on the defensive side, also with that as well. Then he continues to say, Frenkie also reaches the opponent's areas and does not lose several balls. He gives us energy and can play anywhere. It is great to have him him back. Then the interviewer asked him, could we see Frenkie de Jong as a defender against Celta? This is what Xavi did say. Frenkie can play as a defender, and we tried that at the beginning of the season. He's quick, and we also do have options. We're fortunate to have many players that can play in many positions, and Frenkie is an option within that position. So you can see that Xavi Hernandez is not ruling this off. Maybe we could see him play as a center back. We have discussed before in the previous video on how like it would be perfect for Xavi to field a midfield of Busquets, Pedri, and Frenkie. And one of the reasons on why, right, it is because many of us are dying to see that duo back that we did see in the beginning of the season, which was between Pedri and Lewandowski. But the only way we could see that is if some midfielder does stay back and behind Pedri in order for Pedri to be much more advanced. Frenkie de Jong is the only reliable midfielder that can act within a role like that and be behind Pedri and always be that player to receive the ball in deep areas and lay off the pass towards Pedri in order for Pedri to create that chemistry with Lewandowski. Now, I'm not trying to bring any shade to Xavi because I know that many of you guys have been saying, why are you throwing shade at Xavi? Don't you think Xavi should be starting? Do you think that Gavi's not a good player? I'm not saying that Gavi's a bad player. It's just that right now, going based off what we have been encountering in the past few weeks, many of these games have been requiring Frenkie de Jong. Like, Xavi has been phenomenal, but when it comes to like us wanting to see Pedri in better positions, we need Frenkie on the field. It is mandatory, and we're going to continue to see the exact same thing. I do expect to see Celta do the exact same thing, just like how Inter did, create that mid-low block, and that does change Barcelona's approach. They're going to have to bring Pedri in more advanced areas to be between the lines because that is where he does blossom the most. He is the most creative player in that final third. Now, let's say that it does not happen. Let's say that Frenkie de Jong does not play as an interior and Xavi does say, I'm going to place Frenkie as a center back. This is also something that we are going to be discussing later down this video and just talk about two different lineups with Frenkie as a midfielder and another lineup with Frenkie as a center back, because now I do want to move towards the phase of what Xavi does want to see from this Barcelona team, and especially in the match against Celta and beyond. And so this is what Xavi had to say. Do I believe that the team relies on Lewandowski too much? We have to improve in this aspect. We have to improve in free kicks and shooting from outside the box. All players have to try and score more goals. We have to shoot and try to score when we have the ball. We have to be more daring and optimistic in front of the goal, which is so true because I have been seeing Ansu, Pedri, Xavi, sometimes Eric Garcia, like all of these players sometimes hesitate on whether they should be shooting or not. And I'm like, why don't you guys just shoot? Like, there's been so many opportunities, like in that match against Inter, where you could have just shot the ball. Look at what Inter was doing against you in that game. They were shooting the ball from outside the box, and that is how they found the goal. Barcelona have to do the exact same thing. Like, I understand that our idea, our characteristics, our traits, right? Like how we do want to play, it's all about passing the ball, moving it back and forth, confusing the opponent, all the way up until we make a cross into the box and we score a tap in. But I think that that is the problem. Like, yes, we're good at that, but we can't just rely on our only shots being tap ins by Lewandowski. We have to do so much more. Just like Xavi did say, we have to be much more daring inside and especially outside the box. And I was also very interested to see how Barcelona does compare with the other teams in La Liga when it comes to like shots and shots on target. And we look at this list here and it's very interesting, right? Because when it comes to total shots so far in La Liga, just pure total shots, whether it's on target or not on target, Real Madrid is in first place and Barcelona is in second. They only have like 3 shots less than Real Madrid. And then we look at the other frame here, we can see that Barcelona is in first place when it comes to having the most shots on target within La Liga. But this is where things get very interesting. We go into the next frame here and we can see that Barcelona drops all the way down to like 6th, 7th place and is one of the worst when it comes to shots on target percentage. Now, what does this tell me? It tells me that Barcelona is one of the best teams in terms of high volume shots within La Liga, but their chances on having that shot being on target is very, very low, to the point where it does put them to 6th to 7th place. And I do believe that this is showing us that yes, Xavi does want to self-improve. He realizes that yes, we do take a good amount of shots, but we have to get better. And the only way we could get better is just to continue to bring more high volume of shots. And I know that it does get very annoying. I know that we continue to try because players like Dembele, Ferran Torres like skyrocket the ball to like outside of the stadium. But again, this is what Xavi does want. He realizes that yes, we do take a fair amount of shots, but the only way we could get better when it comes to our target on goal is by continuing to do more and more, and especially getting better under pressure, because doing shots and putting shots on target like in training is one thing, but doing it under pressure during a real game is a whole other different game. So now let's quickly talk about another player, which is going to be Pablo Torre, because it does say here, according to Tony Juan Marti, everything indicates that Pablo Torre will have minutes against Celta tomorrow. He will make his La Liga debut against Celta, and I can see this happening mainly because Kessie is out and also because we could possibly see Frenkie as a center back, which basically means that our only options, like real options, would be Pedri and Xavi, and then that backup being Pablo Torre. And this is great news because the only way I could like describe Pablo Torre and what he does on the field, and especially what he did with Racing Santander, he's basically like a hyperactive Pedri. And Xavi has been working very closely with Pablo Torre during the previous winter break that we have just finished, and so I really do hope that we see Pablo tomorrow night face Celta and he brings out a great performance, because I understand that the competition in the midfield is very strong. And so now seeing that Pablo might finally get his opportunity, let's hope he does great. And now let's move on towards the most possible starting 11. So we could see Ter Stegen in goal, our defensive line being Sergio Roberto as the right back, Eric Garcia and Frenkie de Jong as the center back duo. I'm just going based off what Xavi did say, and then having Alejandro Balde as our left back, our midfield being Busquets, Pedri and Xavi, and our front three being Dembele, Lewandowski and Ansu Fati. If this does not end up happening, if Xavi says, you know what, I actually do want to have Frenkie as an interior, have him play with Pedri, then we could see something like this. We could see Sergio Roberto as the right back, Gerard Piqué and Eric Garcia as the center back duo, and Alejandro Balde as the left back, with our midfield being Busquets, Frenkie and Pedri, not Busquets, Pedri and Xavi, and then having our front three being Dembele, Lewandowski and Ansu Fati. So that is it, right? That is going to be wrapping up today's Barcelona daily news and pre-match preview. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.